Hello, lovely Stitchy friends. How are you all? My name is Sally and I'm Flossie Sews and Groves here on YouTube and on Instagram. This is Flosstube number 30 and it is Friday the 29th of March. So it's Good Friday today, so a bank holiday here in the UK. So happy Easter weekend for those of you that celebrate it. Thank you for joining me, whether you're a old subscriber or not old, but someone who's been with me for a while or even since the start. I know there's a couple of you, or a regular visitor, but if you're new, it's lovely to have you along and I really hope you enjoy your visit. This is a channel predominantly about cross stitch, but I do sometimes show other crafts that I do, and I do talk about my allotment sometimes in the summer when the weather's good and it's not raining. We've had a strange day here in Wales this morning. It was beautiful. I've got some washing on. I've got the washing outside, gone for a shower, and I've come out and had to call to my other half to say, get outside quick, I think it's raining. And we've just had a torrential rainstorm, but now the sun's back out, so I've had to shut the curtains. It's been a bit crazy. But anyway, it's been just under 2 weeks since I last checked in with you, but I wanted to do a roundup of March of what I've been doing this month. And I thought I'd probably well, I'll see how the time is, update you on all of my WIPs and do a little bit of a WIP parade, time permitting. And just tell you, talk to you about how I've been progressing with my 50 new starts for turning 50. I'm turning 50 in September, and my lovely friend Sarah at Sew Me Sarah is going to be 50 in December. So I dragged her along on our crazy adventure of 50 new starts to celebrate us both turning 50. So I thought I would just update you on all of my WIPs really, and where I'm up to and how much I've got to go. And I do have a giveaway later in my video, so hang in for that. It's a really good one. It's a really good giveaway. Oh, and just one little bit of something to share with you. I have just signed up for Stitch in London in October. I will be going to weekend 1, and I was lucky enough, because I attended last year, I got an early bird email to see if I wanted to go, and of course I did, and some of my lovely friends are going as well. Some are going weekend 2, which I'm not so happy about, but ho hum, we can't have everything. Tickets will be released for everyone else so if you're not a founding member or you didn't go last October, that's everybody else, and tickets will be released on Saturday the 30th of March at 7 p.m. UK time. So the best way to know about this and get the link to sign up for the retreat so it's in Watford, so it's not quite London, it's just outside, but it's called Stitch in London. Fabulous retreat. I think go back and watch, I think Flosstube number 21 I did a review of last October. It was brilliant retreat. The best way to find out about it is to sign up for the newsletter from Stitches and Diamonds. That's Marie, and if you go to her website, which is stitchesanddiamonds.com, you can sign up for the newsletter. I believe the newsletter will be going out today, which is Friday. I don't know at what point, but hopefully you can find out about that if you would like to sign up to come to the retreat in October. There's 2 weekends, the 4th and the 6th of October, and the 11th and 13th to the 13th of October. So there is a little bit more capacity than last year when it was just 1 weekend, but there will be less people, I think, at each weekend than there were last year, so a little bit more space to spread out. So that was just a little bit of an update on Stitch in London for anyone that might want to come and join us there. So March has been a transformation from, well, I don't know about with the weather today, been a transformation from winter to spring, certainly with my stitching. I think last time I spoke to you, I'd just finished winter snow, so I've been trying to get some of my winter stuff finished. So I do have 2 finishes since I last spoke to you, and certainly one of them was trying to trying to get a winter stitch finished off, and I have a finish on Go Tell It on the Mountain. So this is Go Tell It on the Mountain. It is by Heartstrings Samplery, and I bought this at the Jingle Ball. It's stitched on a 40 count even weave by Megan Coffee Crafts Fabrics, and I've pretty much used the called for thread. Apart from this brown, this was one that a substitute, and the writing should have been in this cream, but actually I felt the brown was a little bit better. Off the top of my head, I think it's 3772, but I definitely told you what it was in my last video, so if you really want to know, go and have a look at Flosstube number 29, because I definitely said the correct number there. I am absolutely thrilled with this. It was really enjoyable to stitch. Not a massive one at all, but I really enjoyed it. And just variety with the house. There's writing. These leaves were really good to do. So a fabulous one to do. So I think it's quite small. It's not huge, especially on 40 counts. I think I'll probably try and frame it. Get a frame for it. But really enjoyed that. And then I got another finish. And this is another one that I really enjoyed. And this is, so that was my winter finish, and this is now really kind of, we've moved into spring. So this is Hen and Chicks, and it's from With Thy Needle and Thread. So it's a Brenda Gervais pattern. I stitched it on a 36 count fabric by Fabrics by Crafty Kate, called Sand Dune. And I used the call for DMCs and fancy flosses. However, I did make just a couple of changes. All of these chickens were kind of this ecru, pale, kind of creamy coloured, and actually not showing up as brilliantly. I did try to place where I was going with the kind of mottling of the fabric, and so my other half has just said to me, it's too dark. So I'm just going to, I think it's okay from on the camera. Do you want to switch the light on and see if that's any better? No. I'm back. Sorry about that rude interruption. We had much of a debate about whether the light should be on or off. The sun will probably be back out shortly and it'll be suddenly too bright, but lights on, so there might have been probably a bit of a change since. And probably when I go and edit this I'll want to start all over again, but anyway. So Hen and Chicks. So as you can see, I changed these chickens here. So these should have all been kind of much paler, kind of creamy coloured. I put this one in white to make him stand out a little bit more, but then I decided to do a red, a grey and a black, like the chickens that we've got or we have had. So we've still got a white one and we have got a black. Well, she's copper black, so she's black but with a green tinge and some copper in her as well. And then we had a grey and we had a little red. So I decided to make a change, and I think actually it's come up really well with that change, and I really like the little chickens, the change of colour of chickens that I've got in there. So those were my finishes since I last spoke to you. I have had 3 starts, so I've had 6 altogether for March, and I think I showed you 3 in my last video, and I've had 3 since. So the first one is Gathering Strawberries, and I must remember, I forgot to give you the prompts in the last video, so I'm going to give them to you now. I have got them written down. So Gathering Strawberries, and this is by Annie B's folk art. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, chickens, and there are 3 chickens in this. There's a white or a grey, a red and a kind of orangey, and I will change those so that they are the colour of our chickens. So the prompt for this one, which one was this? So yes, so the prompt for this was from Sally Diam, and Sally, the prompt that she gave Sarah and I was to stitch something with a strawberry border. So there we go. So as you will, those of you who have been with me for a while will know that last year when Sarah and I were talking about doing our 50 for 50 in 2024, which is the hashtag is hashtag fun for 50 Sal 2024. We asked you all out there to give us some prompts. So comment on our old Flosstube videos for prompts for this year of things, you know, stitch something purple, stitch something in 50 count, and so you all did. So we're trying to, where we can, everything will have a prompt. So that was mine, of stitching something with a strawberry border from Sally. And without much further ado, here is my start. So I'm not sure, now we have the light on, whether this is now coming quite true. So this is, I think, a little bit washed out. So this is a 32 count even weave, and this is from the spring collection from 2023 from Tom and Lily Creates. But it's coming up a little bit light on the camera, but I've really enjoyed that strawberry border so far, and I'm stitching that with all of the called for threads, and I think they are all fancy flosses. That's in my bag that Ros made me, my 50 bag. I think these are all fancy flosses. Oh, there's a couple that aren't, but there's some lovely shrimp cocktail from Classic Colourworks and cherry tomato, and hollyberry. There's some really lovely fancy flosses in there. So only a small start on that so far, and I started it on my daughter's birthday because of the chickens. So I'm going to try and put away as I go along, so excuse the zips. So that was a lovely start, really enjoyed that one. My second start is Garden of Dreams, and this is by Barbara Anna, and I'm stitching this with my stitchy friend Sally, who is Stitchy Sally on here and on Instagram. And Sally and I usually stitch on a Wednesday night Barbara Anna, so we do Barbara Anna Wednesdays. So we both started this Wednesday just gone, so just done 2 days on this. And actually, let me show it to you. Let me show you my start first. So as you can see, the chart, it's actually stitched on the called for it just says neutral colour linen, and it's got, as you can see, there's quite a bit of stitching in the background there, that green background. I have chosen a 32 count even weave for this from Fabrics by Crafty Kate, and this was actually the May 2023 fabric of the month. Now I usually have 36 count linen for the fabric of the month, but Kate sends an email out at the beginning of each month and says this is what the fabric is for this month, and I saw it and thought, I think that would work really, the even weave would work really, really well. So that is the colour of the even weave. If you can see that, I had the linen too. That is the colour of the linen. So even weave, because it's not a natural fabric, it's a mix, it doesn't take the colour quite the same as linen does, which is obviously more raw and more natural. So they do come up in quite different colours. So that was just to show you the difference. But I'd really been inspired with this. I saw someone else had stitched it, and it was on a lady called Angela's Instagram, and Angela is Crafts in the Attic. And I think I put a comment on the photo and said, I really like what you've done with this. It looks fantastic. And actually she then messaged me and said, oh, it wasn't actually me that stitched it, it was my mum Gladys, and she's so pleased that you like it. So we had a little bit of back and forth, and I'm going to put a picture up here of Gladys's version because it's just amazing. Gladys stitched hers on sage green Ada, which was a 14 count, and Gladys, it's beautiful, and I think you should just be so proud of yourself. And I don't want to embarrass you at all, but I think everybody else should know that you are 87. So stitching like that at 87, you're amazing, Gladys, absolutely amazing. It's a beautiful stitch, and I just hope that when I'm 87, I'm still stitching Barbaranas, because it's beautiful and well done. And Angela told, I asked Angela if I could talk about it. She said, oh yes, mum will be thrilled. So I just wanted to do a huge shout out for Gladys and say what a beautiful stitch, and thank you for inspiring me. So thank you for inspiring me to do this on a green fabric, and then I'm not going to stitch all that green background. So Gladys, you've saved me a bit of time, I think. So I'm really pleased with that. And the colours are typical Barbarana colours, just absolutely beautifully gorgeous. Typical Barbarana colours. So I've got all the called for threads there. They're all DMC. So that was an absolutely fantastic start. Really enjoyed starting that on Wednesday with Sally. And the prompt for this one. So Joanita from Stitchy Things gave Sarah and I a prompt to start a Barbarana design. So this won't be it won't be the last of 2024. I'm sure that I will be stitching more Barbarana as the year goes, because I do like to stitch. Every Wednesday I try and stitch on a Barbarana, and at the moment this is the only one I've got going. So there may be more, we'll see. So that was my start number 2. Start number 3 was a start today. So it's Good Friday, and this start, the prompt for this is from Ros Clark, and it is something with a farm animal in it. So can you guess? Yeah, chickens. So this is Easy Peckings. I've got the PDF of this, so I have printed off the front cover. Easy Peckings, and this is from Cosford Rise Stitchery, and I bought this, so I didn't get to stitch in London in time to see Kelly from Cosford Rise Stitchery. She had all her models and patterns, and I think if I'd have seen this one then I would have bought it, but unfortunately I didn't. And then I saw it. My friend Rachel, who I met at Stitchy in London, is called Stitchy Rach on here and on Instagram, and she'd bought it and showed it on one of her floss tubes, her haul from Stitch in London. I thought, oh, I love that. If I'd have seen it, I'd have bought it. I did buy another one actually from Kelly, which you will see later in the year. I just said to Rachel, oh, I really like that, and she said, oh, well, you could buy it and we could do a stitch along. So we have, and we agreed that we would start it today. And I woke up quite early. It's bank holiday here in the UK, so my other half said last night, I'm switching off the alarm tomorrow. It's not going to wake me up at 6:45. So he didn't wake up at 6:45, but of course my body clock woke me up at 7:15, and I thought, he's asleep. It's quite bright. It was a beautiful morning. It was really sunny. I thought, I'm going to go and let the chickens out and make myself a cup of tea, and I'm going to go and stitch for an hour maybe. And I did. So I made a little start, very tiny start, and again, beautiful threads. And these are a mix of fancy floss with some DMC in. And actually I had both of the colours for the chicken. I had the fancy floss, which is eggshell, and I had the DMC, which is 3866. And I know Rachel had a bit of a debate about what fabric she was going to use, and I did 2. And actually for the chicken, which that is the chicken's sticking up bottom, I think, actually, and these are the chicken's tail feathers starting, I actually used the DMC because our chicken is a bit white, a bit of a dirty white rather than a cream, so I went with that. But I've got the cream there if there are other bits later that I want to stitch. So I'm stitching that. So this is a 40 count light mocha. The called for was Fibre on a Whim Cafe au lait, which I think Rach might have had actually, but she felt that the colour, that the chicken colour perhaps wasn't quite right on the bit that she had. I've never stitched on Fibre on a Whim actually. I really need to get some and try it. But I'd been sent this piece of 40 count light mocha, it's Zweigart, by Audrey last Halloween. We'd done a Halloween exchange and she put a bit of fabric in for me and it was just the right size, so absolutely perfect. So far so good with that. So that was a I think I got, before I heard the rumblings of people getting up, I think I probably got about an hour in. I did sit and faff a little bit and did a few notes for, I'd written my notes for this last night, but I did add a few more bits in, so and watched a bit of Flosstube. But yes, so that was start number 3. So my WIPs. So what have I worked in since I last saw you? Well, somehow everything's got a bit mixed up because those are, there we go, my WIPs are at the bottom of this big pile. So what did I work on since I last saw you? What's the first one? Just having a look. So this is my trusty, by my side is my trusty tracker. So this is, I bought a PDF from Stitching Cabin last year, and my favourite thing to print out is the WIP tracker. So I can go and kind of tick off, and red, green as a start, pink a finish. So I can stitch, and I like having everything in order. So the first, yeah, this was a start last time. You saw this. This is the Mandala rooster from Maloka Designs, and I'll pop a picture here. This is a freebie, and we've got a hanging thread. What a naughty girl I am. Or 2, and this is how far I've got with this. Not a huge amount because I have had 3 new starts since I last saw you, but can you remember last time I talked about this, what's it called, plume? Is it a plume? I don't know. And little bits here that I'd stitched in a colour that I'd substituted, and I wasn't quite happy with it. It was not quite the right colour, so actually I pulled all of that out and I put a more red colour in, and I think that looks a lot better. So really pleased. A little bit of progress on that. Quite, it's not a massive stitch, but it is quite time consuming with the changes, and yeah, just lots of different colours, but really fun and beautiful, and again a lovely bright palette. And I'm stitching this 1/2, as I do with most things. And actually I should have said, with the Barbara Anna and the Gathering Strawberries, I'm stitching those both on 32 count even weave, which is quite unusual for me, but I am still stitching those with 1/2 with 1 strand. And actually I think if you have a look a little bit, I'll show you a little bit more closely next time, because I'll have made a bit more progress on them. But the coverage is great. Really, the coverage is absolutely fine. So I'm quite pleased with that. Maybe it's both because they have been dyed that they're slightly tighter than a normal 32 count, but they're looking great. And that's looking, I think that's looking really good as well for a mandala. Mandala. But really enjoying that one. My next WIP, now I didn't do an awful lot on this one. This is Ooh, try and squeeze out 10 Merry Sailors and the Loyal Dog by Modern Folk Embroidery, which was our Stitch in London stitch last year. And I really haven't done very much on this one at all. I've just done a couple of the lines here, and I started stitching on it, and then I stopped because I thought, actually, I'm stitching on 36 count country vintage mocha. I can see it quite easily. And I've got a really long train trip coming up in mid-April. I've got a team meeting which is down in Exeter, and so I'm going to stay the night before and the night of with one of my work colleagues, who just happens to be a very old friend of mine who I've known. Well, I was at school with her, so I'm going to go and stay there. So it's going to take me, I'm going to have a 5-hour train journey there and a 5-hour train journey back. And just thought, actually, that is a really good stitch to take on the train, because I can see the 36 count. It's one colour. I'm stitching it with Roxy Flosstube, and it's Great Lakes. So I just thought, actually, I'm not going to stitch anymore. I'm going to save that for the train. So yeah, stitched a little bit, but not too much. So we got this as kitted up at Stitch in London as part of our retreat package. And that's the floss. So Roxy Flosstube, and it's Great Lakes. And I would say that it's a beautiful blue. I love blue. I love purple. Probably one of my all-time favourite threads. So that will get some train time. So those are my WIPs, weren't they? Did I say that was it? That was my WIPs. Hence, I thought I would just talk to you about everything else that I had I've worked on so far. So at the moment, I've only got 3 WIPs that I did not start in 2024. So I started March with 11 WIPs, 3 which were pre-2024. I think they were all started in 2023. I think they're all last year, nothing from the year before. So eight of my WIPs I've started in 2024. So I've got another set of notes over here as well as ones in front of me. And I've had 6 new starts in March, 3 that I've finished. So I'm ending March because I'm probably not going to stitch on anything in the next couple of days that I'm going to finish. I think I might pick up an older WIP for the next couple of days now and try and get some in that. So I will finish March with 14 WIPs. So I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. So the WIPs that I've got that I've not stitched on this time or for a while, first of all, Modern Folk Embroidery. So I don't even know if you saw this on my last Flosstube, or if I've not stitched on it have I stitched on it in March at all? Oh, I've stitched on it 3 times in March, so I've made a little bit of progress, but not an awful lot. And I did want to just say about this one, so this is Moonshine Cabin, my Modern Folk Embroidery, and I'm stitching it on a 32 count. It's either slate or charcoal, 1 strand over 2, and it's the called for DMC. Now, I wanted to definitely talk about this one because I just wanted to highlight, have you seen Caroline from Evertoad? She'd finished this a while ago, and she had it framed by her new framer, and it is beautiful. The frame, it's done in a round, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And actually, I went to Nimble Thimble at the weekend, and Chris at Nimble Thimble, her husband does framing, and they'd got a shepherd's bush on the wall which had a round mount, and I thought, oh right, they'll do a round mount. So I think probably I will get this one professionally framed at Nimble Thimble and take a picture of Caroline's and say, I'd like something like this, please, because it looks amazing. So go and have a look at Caroline at Evertotes. So that, again, that not got a huge amount. I say that, it doesn't look like there is, but actually there is quite a bit of stitching, because you've got the I can't think what the picture is now. Is it a moon at the top? So I think there'll be quite a lot of stitches in that. But yeah, so still quite a lot to do, but I do want to get on with that. Next WIP, Teresa Koga, Remember Me. Really, really love this one. I started stitching this last year in memory of my dad and my partner's mum, Diana. I think they would both have really, really liked this. And this is how far I am. This is a 40 count vintage cream Zweigart fabric, and I'm predominantly using the called for DMC and any fancy flosses. There is a couple of Weeks Dye Works in there that I'm using. So I think I will probably pick this up now and stitch this over Easter, stitch this over the weekend to try and, because I haven't stitched on it. I don't think I've shown it to you for a couple of Flosstubes. So I'd like to get some stitches in on that. So that is one for this weekend. Now, this is another little WIP that you have never seen. So this, I started this before Christmas, and then I made a mistake. So it just kind of got put on the windowsill, and I've just kind of left it. I think I might have frogged the mistake, but I could really do with starting it again. This is, I'm not going to show you the chart. It is a freebie, but I'm still not going to show you the chart. You can go and have a look and find that yourself. It's from Crochet A Go Go, and it is the squirrel free 2023 pattern. So that's what it will look like. It's lovely. She's done a couple of these in the bell jars. This is what he'll look like, and this is what he looks like at the moment. So I made a mistake with that white, and yeah, as you can see, just frogged it, and I've left the threads hanging. And I did think I would stitch this as a gift and gift it for Christmas, and well, it just didn't happen. But I have put it on my WIP list because I want to get it finished, and I'll use it either for a gift for this Christmas or an exchange, or you know, something. So I wanted to make myself accountable to you that that is on my WIP list, and I'm going to get it finished. So there we go. So those are my 3 WIPs that were from prior to 2024. So my first WIP of 2024 was my very first start for 2024, which Sarah and I both started on New Year's Day. And this is Twin Bird Pincushion from Girl with a Gavel Stitches. And this was another chart that we were gifted at Stitch in London, and it's Chloe. Couldn't think of a name, and it is actually written, it's written there, but I was reading it backwards, so that's my excuse. And quite a few of you started this with us, and quite a few of you have finished it. I saw actually Stitchy Rach has posted her progress this week, that she was going to try and finish this in April. I'm stitching this with Roxy Floss Co colours. I know the pink is Blink 182. The paler blue is Pewter, and the royal blue is Royale, and I'm stitching it on a 40 count mystery fabric. As you can see, it's not a massive stitch, but it takes longer than you think. It is quite stitch heavy, but it's lovely, and I don't know that it will be an April finish for me. I wonder, and because actually the charting for this, the wording is Stitch in London 2023, but I think Sarah and I have discussed changing it, and maybe we do hashtag, can we stitch a hashtag? Hashtag fun for 50, Sal. So I think actually I'd like to instead of Stitch in London here, because I've got the Sailor Men for that, to celebrate that. So I think this one will be celebrating the 50. So yeah, so I do need to do some more work on that. It's not just the 2 pin, the top and the bottom, I've also got the sides as well. So I do need to, there's quite, there is quite a lot. It's quite stitch heavy, that. So could do with picking that one back up, because that one has kind of taken a bit of a back seat. Next one is another one that was bought at the Jingle Ball, and this was Santa and the Woolmakers, and it's a collaboration between Kathy Barrick and Hello from Liz Matthews. Beautiful, beautiful stitch. And I'm stitching this on 40 count XU Designs. I think it's lamb's wool. It's beautiful, and this is how far I've got. So I've just done that first corner here. So it is a wintry stitch. I don't think I will pick this up again probably now for a couple of months, because I'm really enjoying all the chickens and all the more spring-like things. So yeah, I'm thinking this one probably, I've definitely got a few things in mind for Christmas in July, so I think this one will be picked up back then. Although I do love it, I would really like to get stitching back on it again, but lots to finish, lots to do. So next up, this one hasn't got a huge amount to do. This could be a finish. This is For Thee, and I'll pop a picture here of what it's going to look like when it's finished. And it's by Lila Studio, and again, this is a freebie. This was another start that Sarah and I had together, and there were lots of people who were stitching this with her. So Alex, my friend Alex, who is at Stitch Alex Ong, Alex was stitching this with us, and she's finished it. Judith, who's the ex-stitching librarian, I think she's finished it. I think Ruth, Country Gal, was stitching this as well. I think she might have finished it. So yes, it's just me that hasn't. So I do really need to get on and do some more work on that, because it's not massive. It won't take a huge amount of time. And I think that's why actually I wanted to show you all of my WIPs today and do a bit of a WIP parade to get them out and think which I did want to get some work done on in between all my new starts, because there have been a few. Next up, haven't stitched on the last couple of weeks. Oh, actually only stitched on this twice in March. So this is Coffee and Eggs from the Artsy Housewife, and I'm stitching this on, it's 35 count weeks dye work. I think it's beige. Let me just check if I've written it down on the paper that I'm. Oh no, it's parchment. There we go. 35 count weeks dye work parchment, and I'm stitching this with my own conversion of Roxy Floss Co. So there is a Roxy Floss Co conversion, but I'm stitching it on the colours that I've got. So I think there are a couple that certainly, this Colonel Mustard is the called for, and there's another colour, oh I think it's Inappropriate is the other called for colour, and I had those two, but everything else I am using the Roxy Floss Co threads that I have. There are a couple of DMCs that I've had to put in there because I didn't have an equivalent Roxy Floss Co colour, but I'm really enjoying that when I get time on it. But as I said, I've only stitched on that twice in March. It's quite a springy one, it's got a chicken on it, so I'm hoping, and actually because that's a 35 count, that might be another good one to take on the train. And also actually that is a very good point, if I could get that lady outlined, or I could get the chicken outlined, there'd be some real good stitching in one colour, not easily making mistakes because I'm on a train. So that's another one that I can have on the train, I think. And then final WIP. Last time I spoke to you, I said I was going to get this finished by the end of this month. And this was scattered seed samplers. And actually, I didn't give you a prompt for this one last, I think, because this was a start. I started on the 1st of March. So you didn't get a prompt, but the prompt for this one was a designer that I'd never stitched on before, and it is by Scattered Seed Samplers, and that prompt came from Marianne Johnson, Fiona Lawrence and Karen Christmas. All gave that prompt of stitch a designer that we'd never stitched before, and for me it was Scattered Seed Samplers and Home Sweet Home. So I did say the last time I saw you that I was going to finish this one, and actually this was the first one that I thought, because this is also on 36 count country vintage mocha. This was another one that I thought, oh, that actually will make a good train stitch. But then I changed my mind really to the Modern Folk Embroidery one, because actually there's not an awful lot more to stitch on it. There's that border around the outside, so I might not have that as my train stitch because it's a little bit more fiddly, and maybe try and get that finished at home early April. I'll see, but there's not a huge amount in that left, so that's a lovely one. And I've been stitching that with my friend Elaine, who is Ellie Welly Stitcher. We've been stitching together on that one. So that is all my WIPs. So that's everything. You've seen everything that is currently on the go. Yeah, in 40 minutes, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. So you've had a new starts, finishes, new starts, WIPs that I'd worked on since I last saw you. The rest of my WIPs, you've had a WIP parade. There we go. Doing pretty well. Still have a few more things to talk to you about though. I have been showing you something that my mum stitched, and thank you, there were a couple of people, so Steph, Nadine, who I knew would know, and also Alison, all sent me messages or commented on my last Flosstube to say that the birth sampler that mum had stitched me for Felicity it wasn't just Nan, and I knew it wasn't. As soon as I read their messages, I thought, of course, I knew that. The pattern was drawn thread, and I'll pop a picture. I have taken a picture, or I've screenshot a picture of the pattern, and this is what it is. So once I said I should have done my research a little bit better in advance of my last Flosstube, but I did my research a little bit better this time to show you this one, and this one it's absolutely beautiful, and this one is definitely a drawn thread, and this was stitched. So the really amazing thing about this one, and this is a reoccurring theme actually, that my dad has actually written on the back. So he has written, to Sally, worked by your mummy with love, June 1999. So I would have been, my mum thinks that she did this for my 21st, but my 21st would have been in 1995. So I don't think it'd have taken her 4 years, but so I think, yeah, I got this around maybe being 24, 25. And actually, so Dad wrote that in June 1999, and actually we sadly lost him the following year. So little things like that really, really mean a huge amount to me when he's written on things like that. And you know, and it's a reminder, isn't it, of the date. And so yeah, do that for your kids, do that for your family, just even if it's just a little note to say when you stitched it and your name and who you stitched it for. Do it. I'm gonna go and do that. I'm gonna write on the backs of my frames, because that means so much. But anyway, this is drawn thread, and can you just see how beautiful this is? And look at that. And then the thing, I mean, Mum said to me when I said I was going to show you this, she just said, oh, that one, it was framed amazingly. And that, I think the She said that the framer had a girl training with him. She was doing some kind of apprenticeship with him, and Mum took this in and said, "Oh, what do you think?" And she said, "You need to make it. You need to make a bit of a show of that." And I'm like, "Okay," and do what you think. And yeah, just the way she, the keyhole cut almost of that is just absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic, and just yeah, really the mount really sets it off. So that hard angle though, and the beading in there is absolutely beautiful. So absolutely thrilled. And actually I do have this hanging downstairs next to the birth sampler for Felicity, so they are side by side. So actually I should have known they were both drawn thread, but absolutely beautiful. So that so proud of my mum, so proud. So I had to show you that one. So that was stitching by mum. And then, well, I've had some haul. Of course I've had some haul. So went to the Nimble Thimble on Saturday. So I think many of you know Felicity was doing her Duke of Edinburgh, so her expedition. So in the UK we have something called the Duke of Edinburgh Award, and it was something that our late Queen, her husband was the Duke of Edinburgh. Now Edward, her son, is the Duke of Edinburgh, and he has carried this on. But Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, set up this award for young people to give them, I think, a bit of a something to work towards, and something that would be useful for them, something useful on their CVs, and to help them in life. And there's children can do it I did it at school. I did my Silver Duke of Edinburgh. Felicity's friends who are in the year above her at school are currently doing it, but she has joined Scout. She's in the Explorers, which is the kind of 14 plus age group, and she's able to do her Duke of Edinburgh there, so she's doing it with Scouts. So last weekend she did her expedition. So there's an expedition. You have to do 3 other bits. You have to do a skill, a physical activity, and some volunteering, and you have to do 2 of them for 3 months and a third for 6 months. So of course her dancing will be her physical for 6 months. Her skill, she wants to do baking, so we have to document everything she's doing, and she's doing that for 3 months. And then she's also volunteering in a local community cafe on every other week, in the evening. She's going in, and that would be great for her. She's learning how to use the till and how to do the drinks and how to serve people, and so really good experience. So last weekend was the expedition, and they have to do kind of 6 hours of walking each day and an overnight. So we dropped her off, and she was with a group of 5 other children, or 5 other young adults. They're getting older. They're all 14 plus. They're all in the same school. She goes to school with all of them. She has classes. She's in same form as one of the girls and has classes with all of the other children. So she knew them through Scouts, but knew them through school as well. So sent them off, and off they went to walk, and then they camped overnight and then walked the next day. So it was a great opportunity for me to go to Nimble Thimble with Mum and one of her friends, Hilary, who hasn't been before but really wanted to go. So Mum and I were very pleased to take Hilary, and then we had a lovely lunch afterwards at the local pub. So what did I buy? Because of course you will know that I couldn't come away empty-handed. So I did have a number of fancy flosses that I needed. So got some beautiful fancy floss colours there for various different projects. And then draw a thread. So I bought this. So this is Emily's Hope by the Drawn Thread, and you can see absolutely beautiful chart. Now the last time I went to Nimble Thimble with Mum, she bought a drawn thread that had been kitted up. And what Chris at the Nimble Thimble does is, I don't know if she does this herself or has a lady that does it for her, but this chart in particular has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 colours, and the called for a dinky dye silk, 14 dinky dye silk and 1 needlepoint ink silk. Now in the UK, those silks are all roughly about £5 each for a skein. So if you were going to kit this up, it would be £70 to buy those silks. So what Chris or Chris's lady does is kits them up with just the right, oh, fingers and thumbs today, dropping it. Kits them up with just all the right amount of silk that you need for each chart, and then puts in so the call for this is an undyed, natural undyed Belfast linen. So that's a 32 count in there. I might change this. Called for, as you can see, I think actually the called for is a lot that is a lot darker than what is on the chart. So, and actually this does say stitch over 1. So not sure if I'll use the 32 count or if I will give this to somebody else or stitch something else on it and get maybe a 36 kind of creamy coloured. I need to chat to Nadine about this. Nadine will give me the best lot of advice, I think, but I wanted to try this because there are lots of speciality stitches in, and really wanted to try something new. So yeah, don't know when this will be started, but I think it'd be lovely. So couldn't resist, could not resist. So that's going to be a new thing. I think I will try and start that in 2024, because I think we have got a prompt, Sarah and I, to do something different or to try something different. So, or to stitch on a different count or stitch with something different. So certainly stitching with silk will be different. So the other thing I bought was this. So this is Winter Wonderland, Winter Wonderland by Blackbird Designs. This is a re-release, and there's a beautiful there's another little one on the back as well. So this is a loose feathers pattern, so it's loose feathers 39, and you've got Winter Wonderland, and then the pin cushion on the back is Winter Garden pin cushion, which is lovely. I like both of those, and I'd seen this in a few different places, and it's a re-release. So I do, yeah, it is kind of paper in there. The book, I don't think the re-releases the paper's quite as good as perhaps some of their older stuff, but I couldn't resist it. It's a beautiful little pattern, and I really liked it. Really loved the colours on it, so couldn't resist buying that. So, oh, and then I got something. So that was my Nimble Thimble purchases. And then on a D-stash, I got this one. So this is Country Cottage Needleworks, and this is Afternoon in New York. And don't ask. There might be a plan. It is a big birthday this year. You never know. Another purchase. So this was this. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. So this is a project bag by Pauline from Sobe Bags, and I'd been angling after a project bag from Pauline for quite a while, and Pauline tends to put her project bags for sale on her Instagram page on a Friday night at 6 p.m. Now we go to choir on a Friday night. We sing with a community at the community cafe, actually, that my daughter is doing her volunteering. We go to choir there on a Friday night, and it starts at 6 p.m. So this one particular Friday night, I'd seen Pauline does put little tasters up earlier in the week of, or the week before, of, oh, this is the fabric I have that I'm working on. Check out my page on Friday night. So I was like, right, I'm going to set myself a reminder. So I set myself a reminder for just before 6 o'clock. And luckily choir didn't start on time, and I was able to go on, and I was able to snag this one. And you'll know why I liked it. Mrs. Chick Chick sitting there on the wheelbarrow of carrots. Our chickens don't like carrots, actually. They love tomatoes, they love grapes, they love cucumbers. They don't like carrots. Anyway, that's why she's standing on them and she's not trying to eat them. So could not resist that. So I received this from Pauline, and she sent me a beautiful spring card, actually. Beautiful spring card. But she was a bit naughty, because I'd said to her I'd missed the last one, and I'd really liked the chickens project bag she'd had the last time. So do you know what she did? She also sent me this. Look at those gorgeous chickies. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? So gorgeous bag. The top. That's a box finish. So she gifted me that one, and I love it. So thank you, Pauline. Just thrilled. So my easy peckings is going to go in this one. But you know what? She didn't stop there. The lovely Pauline also sent one for one of you. She sent me this one, which is a real lovely bunny Easter bag, and she sent me this one to give away. So if you would like to win this beautiful project bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags, I would like you to comment in the comments below, and I would like you to use the word bunny, please. Now, usual Flosstube rules apply. Please be 18 or over so that I can ask for your address and your details. I'm afraid this will be UK only this time. I have got another giveaway planned soon. Actually, no, scrap that. I'll send it anywhere. I'll send it anywhere. It's not massive. It will fold up. It has been folded up. I'll send it anywhere. So anyone can do this one. That's fine. And please be a subscriber. Please be somebody that is supporting me. So Pauline supported me in sending this, and I would like to send it to someone to say thank you for supporting me. So please be a subscriber. That would be fantastic. So I will draw. So it's Friday today. I'm trying to do every other Friday. So my next Flosstube will be, it'll be kind of the middle of April. I can't quite think what the date will be for that Friday, but it'll be the second Friday in April. So if you can comment by then, and I will draw in time for that Flosstube. So that, oh, and I did have one little other bit of Stitchy kindness as well. My friend Anna went and did a little bit of shopping for me. I'm not going to show you quite yet what she bought for me, because I've also had some other Stitchy kindness as well. I've had a lovely exchange from a lady in America as part of the Stitch Across the Pond exchange, but I haven't yet had communication with her to I've messaged her and haven't yet had a response that she's happy for me to share her name, and etc. So there are a few bits that I'd sent her that I'd asked my friend Anna to buy for me when she went shopping, and she lives near a beautiful shop in Nantwich, and for the life of me the name's gone out of my, I'm going to put it here because the name's gone out of my head, and the lady who owns it, Dawn, is really lovely. I'd wanted to send something to the States that was quite British, And so I did send her a few messages backwards and forwards, and then Anna went into the shop and actually got it for me and delivered it when she was dropping off her daughter to come and celebrate Felicity's birthday. And while she was there, Dawn has just started selling DMC. She'd had quite a lot of demand for DMC because there's a lot of stitches in Nantwich. There's certainly the Nantwich crafters. So she bought me a little 4210 because she had stitched We Santa 2022. I'd stitched in Cottage Garden Threads, Le Bouton in the pink, and she'd stitched it in this. And she said she'd bought it for me because she thought I would like stitching that colour as well. So that was another little bit of Stitchy kindness. So what else did I want to tell you about? Oh, there was yes, Stitchy kindness and Stitchy friends and Stitchy goodness. I was watching Rachel this week, who is Talking Dog Stitcher. She's quite a new Flosstuber to me, actually. I've only caught up with her in the last couple of months, so I only watched the last few of her Flosstubes. And she'd been away for a weekend quite close to here, actually, with Just So Sherry. So I think that's how I found out about Rachel. But I watched her latest Flosstube. I think it's maybe about a week old or a week and a half old, and I watched it a couple of days ago, and it was really, really good. She didn't show an awful lot of stitching. She'd not had a great couple of weeks, but she did talk about other Flosstubers, and she talked about a lot of other UK Flosstubers and who she liked watching. So go over and have a watch of Rachel from the Talking Dog Stitcher, because actually she's got some really good suggestions of British Flosstubers, and there are quite a few of them who are in the under 1,000 subscribers list. So certainly I know my friend Rachel, who's Stitchy Rach, is in there. She'd recommended her, a couple of other people, and a couple of people that I'd not watched before as well, which I've now gone and watched and really enjoyed and subscribed to. A Rosie X Stitches, who I'd met in Stitch in London, she's on that list as well. So go and have a watch of Rachel, because there's some really good Flosstube recommendations there. And those are the people really that I've watched over the last couple of days from that recommendation. Plans. Of course, something else fell, so I've had to go and pick it up. So plans, I know I spoke about these in my last Flosstube, but just to remind you, Sarah and I are stitching this together as part of our Fun for 50 SAL 2024, and this is Little House Needlework Schoolgirl Lessons. I said I was going to try and get a thread at Nimble Thimble for this, but I didn't because I got the other one with silks. I think I'll probably stitch this with a Roxy Floss Co thread because I've got lots of reds. We're starting this on April the 8th if you wanted to join in with us. And the other big one that I have got this month to start, I'm starting this on April the 13th, and it's Spring Quaker by Lila Studio. If you watch my last Flosstube, you'll see the colours that I've chosen. I'm stitching it on fabric by Crafty Kate, and I'd had a bit of dilemma about what colours, and really can't wait to start it now. So I'm stitching this with Alex. It's Alex's birthday stitch, and we are using hashtag Spring Quaker Birthday Sal. So that's Alex at Stitch Alex Ong. So I know quite a few people are joining us on this, and we're really thrilled about that. So Spring Quaker, 13th of April, come and join us on that. So I think that's it. I think we are there. So don't forget that great giveaway from the lovely Pauline at Sobe Bags. Thank you so much, Pauline. It's been lovely to catch up with you all. I hope those of you who celebrate Easter have a really lovely weekend. And if you like chocolate and you like eating chocolate, I hope you get lots and you stuff yourself silly. If not, enjoy a nice hot cross bun. We've got, so I think Felicity is quite relieved. She was exhausted on Sunday when I picked her up after her walk, absolutely exhausted. They had it'd been really windy, so they'd struggled to heat any of their food up. they'd had hail, they'd started in the rain, so they'd got wet, and oh, she was exhausted. I was like, "Hi, how are you?" She said, "Just take me home." But she passed the expedition, she did brilliantly. So I think she's really pleased that certainly today is a relaxing day, and then tomorrow we've got friends coming over. Sunday, Liverpool are playing at home, so Simon will be going to watch Liverpool, and his son is actually coming to. One of his sons is coming to stay tomorrow night. He's going to a wedding close by, so he's coming to see us off to the wedding and then staying here Saturday night. So he'll go to the football with Simon on Sunday, and then we'll all have a roast dinner, Easter Sunday roast dinner with Mum when they get home, and then on Monday his other son is coming to visit us with his girlfriend. So we're hoping that the weather's nice and we can get out and have a little bit of a wander around our Welsh lanes here and get a bit of fresh air after eating chocolate and roasts and things like that. So lots of visits over the weekend. I'm hoping I can fit some stitching in here and there, and yes. So I forgot to say, when I went to visit Nimblethimble, the highlight of the visit was meeting Cheryl. I met Cheryl at the Chatelaine retreat last year, but really very briefly. She was only there for a day. And the following day, people kept going, "Well, did you talk to Cheryl?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." So I was really pleased when I followed her into Nimblethimble, and she looked at me. She goes, "I know you," and I was like, "I know you do." And we figured out who the other one was and why we knew each other. So it was really lovely to see you, Cheryl, and I can't wait to see you again at the Chatelaine retreat in June, which I'm going for a day, just doing a day there at that one. So yes, so that was lovely. So yes, happy Easter. I hope you all have great weekends. For those that celebrate, for those of you that are just having some time, much needed time off work. We certainly get a bank holiday today on the Friday, and we get Easter Monday as a bank holiday as well. So no work, yay. More stitching, woohoo, which is great. So I hope that it's a sunny and restful and full of stitching time for you, and I shall see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everybody, and happy stitching. Bye bye.